playing him in the preseason out in China, and I went to go for a workout. It was like 11 o'clock at night. I went in the weight room in the hotel to lift weights, and he was in there by himself lifting weights, And so when I see stuff like that, then that's when I know, he's really takes the game seriously.
In 2013, Kobe Bryant saw a guy in the gym working out late at night. He wasn't an all-star. He wasn't averaging 20 points. He wasn't considered one of the NBA's future superstars. Most people were actually talking about Stephen Curry. But Kobe Bryant knew this guy would be great. He saw something in him that no one else did. After the game, Kobe delivered a warning that barely anyone paid attention to. Coming from anyone else, it would have sounded like a compliment. Coming from Kobe Bryant, the greatest student of basketball the game has ever seen, it was something much bigger. Because Kobe rarely praised young players. He respected work, discipline, obsession. And he saw all three in Klay Thompson before the rest of the basketball world ever did. Years later, Klay would become a 4-time NBA champion, break records nobody thought were possible, create the greatest shooting backcourt in NBA history, score 37 points in a single quarter. And every step of the way, Kobe's warning became impossible to ignore. But to understand how Kobe saw it before everyone else, you have to go back to the very beginning. Klay Thompson was born into basketball. His father, Michael Thompson, wasn't just an NBA player. He was the first overall pick in the 1978 NBA draft and won 2 championships with the Los Angeles Lakers alongside Magic Johnson. Basketball was simply part of life. But unlike many NBA sons who grew up expecting greatness, Klay never demanded attention. He wasn't loud. He wasn't flashy. He wasn't obsessed with becoming famous. He just wanted to shoot. Over and over and over again. Friends and coaches all tell similar stories. Klay would spend hours repeating the exact same jumper until it felt automatic. Not because anyone forced him, because he genuinely loved the process. Sound familiar? That's exactly what Kobe Bryant became famous for. The endless repetition. The obsession with perfecting one movement. The belief that greatness wasn't built during games. It was built when nobody was watching. Long before they ever shared an NBA floor, their mentalities were already incredibly similar. In high school, at Santa Margarita Catholic, Klay developed into one of California's best shooters. But he still wasn't viewed as a can't-miss superstar. Elite scorer? Absolutely. Generational prospect? Not quite. Instead of immediately becoming a household name, he committed to Washington State. Not Duke. Not Kentucky. Not UCLA. Washington State. A school that rarely produced NBA stars. And honestly, that fit Klay perfectly. No spotlight. No unnecessary hype. Just basketball. During 3 seasons with the Cougars, he became one of the best scorers in college basketball. He broke school records, earned all Pac-10 honors, and showcased one skill that translated immediately to the NBA: elite shooting. Defenders knew exactly what he wanted to do. It didn't matter. One dribble, pull up, catch and shoot, fade away, movement threes. Everything looked effortless. Still, questions remained. Could he defend? Was he athletic enough? Could he create his own shot consistently? Those concerns pushed him outside the very top of the draft. Looking back today, it's almost unbelievable, because multiple teams passed on one of the greatest shooters in NBA history. With the 11th pick, the Golden State Warriors selected Klay Thompson. At the time, it barely made headlines. Golden State wasn't the Warriors we know today. They weren't contenders. They weren't a dynasty. They hadn't won a championship in decades. Nobody knew they were about to change basketball forever. Klay's rookie season wasn't spectacular. Solid. Promising. But nothing earth-shattering. He averaged around 12 points per game, made the all-rookie first team, and quietly improved every single month. But another young guard was starting to attract attention: Stephen Curry. While injuries had slowed Curry early in his career, his unbelievable shooting was becoming impossible to ignore. Together, they formed a young backcourt with incredible potential. The league didn't know it yet, but basketball was about to evolve. By Klay's second season, everything started changing. His confidence exploded. His defense improved dramatically. His shooting became more consistent. Night after night, he accepted the toughest defensive assignments, while still knocking down impossible shots. And that's exactly when Kobe Bryant took notice. Most players admired Klay's jump shot. Kobe admired something much deeper: his discipline, his patience, his willingness to do the little things. Because scoring is easy to appreciate. Sacrifice isn't. Klay didn't need the ball every possession. He didn't complain. He defended the opposing team's best perimeter player. He sprinted endlessly without the basketball. He accepted whatever role helped his team win. That's basketball purity, and Kobe loved it. During one matchup between the Lakers and Warriors, Kobe spent much of the night battling Golden State's young guards. The Warriors weren't champions yet, but something felt different. The ball movement, the spacing, the shooting, and right in the middle of it all was Klay Thompson. Calm, confident, never rushing, never forcing. Afterward, Kobe offered praise that would age like fine wine. He called Klay a future problem. Simple words, massive meaning. Because Kobe almost never handed out compliments like that. He respected players who earned them. What made Kobe's prediction even more impressive was that Klay hadn't become Klay yet. No championships, no All-Star appearances, no Olympic gold medals, no historic playoff performances, no records, just flashes, potential, and relentless work. That's what Kobe saw. Not what Klay was, but what he was becoming. As the Warriors continued improving, one nickname began spreading around the league: the Splash Brothers. Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson. Together, they were changing basketball. Defenses had never seen anything like it. The second you crossed half court, you were already in danger. Double Curry, Klay makes you pay. Stay attached to Klay, Curry destroys you. Help inside, three-pointer. Go under the screen, three-pointer. Switch defenders, three-pointer. It didn't matter. Every possession felt like a ticking time bomb. And the scary part? They were only getting started. Nobody could have imagined what was about to happen next. Not even the biggest Warriors fans. Because in just a few years, Klay Thompson wouldn't simply become one of the greatest shooters ever. He would produce some of the most unbelievable scoring explosions the NBA has ever witnessed, including one night when he scored 37 points in a single quarter. And from that moment forward, everyone finally realized Kobe Bryant had seen it coming all along. By 2015, the NBA wasn't ready anymore. Stephen Curry was becoming the face of basketball. But every dynasty needs someone who makes greatness impossible to stop. For the Warriors, that someone was Klay Thompson. He didn't dominate headlines. He didn't chase MVPs. He barely talked. But night after night, he quietly became the player every championship team dreams of having. Elite shooter, elite defender, completely unselfish, and exactly the kind of player Kobe Bryant respected most. Then, on January 23, 2015, Klay did something that still doesn't seem real. The Warriors were playing the Sacramento Kings. Through 3 quarters, Klay had played well. Nothing historic. Then came the fourth, or more specifically, the greatest shooting quarter the NBA has ever seen. 3 after 3. Fadeaway, transition 3, corner 3, pull-up jumper. Everything touched nothing but net. Defenders were draped all over him. It didn't matter. By the time the quarter ended, Klay had scored 37 points in just 12 minutes. He went 13 for 13 from the field, 9 for 9 from 3. Not a single miss. Even today, it sounds made up. Players have scored 37 in an entire game. Klay did it in 1 quarter. And somehow, he made it look effortless. It wasn't just a record. It was proof that Kobe's prediction had become reality. Klay Thompson wasn't just a problem. He had become one of the most terrifying scorers basketball had ever seen. Just a few months later, Golden State captured its first championship in 40 years. The Splash Brothers had officially arrived. Steph won MVP. Andre Iguodala won Finals MVP. Draymond Green became the emotional heartbeat. But Klay? He did what he'd always done. Guard the toughest perimeter assignment. hit huge shots, sacrifice touches, and help the Warriors win. He never needed the spotlight. Winning was enough. That's another reason Kobe admired him. Because Kobe knew championships weren't won by talent alone. They were won by players willing to do everything. The next season, Golden State became even scarier. They won 73 games, breaking Michael Jordan's Bulls record of 72. Everything seemed perfect, until the Western Conference Finals. The Warriors fell behind the Oklahoma City Thunder, 3-1. One more loss, and their historic season was over. Then, Game 6 happened. Today, basketball fans don't even need an explanation. They simply call it Game 6 Klay. Facing elimination, Klay produced one of the greatest playoff performances in NBA history. He scored 41 points, knocked down 11 three-pointers, an NBA playoff record at the time. Every time Oklahoma City looked ready to celebrate, Klay answered. Contested 3, another one. Transition 3, corner 3. It felt impossible. The louder the arena became, the calmer Klay looked. Golden State survived, then won Game 7. Without Game 6 Klay, there is no comeback, no finals appearance, no dynasty. It remains one of the greatest clutch performances basketball has ever seen. Although the Warriors lost the 2016 finals, they came back stronger. Kevin Durant joined Golden State. Many wondered if Klay would complain about fewer shots. Instead, he welcomed it. No drama, no ego, no selfishness. He simply kept playing winning basketball. The Warriors won championships in 2017, then 2018. Klay continued guarding elite scorers while stretching defenses beyond recognition. Even surrounded by future Hall of Famers, he remained indispensable. Because players who can defend, shoot, and never demand attention are incredibly rare. Then came 2019. The Warriors were chasing a third straight championship. In Game 6 of the NBA Finals, Klay attacked the basket. Danny Green made contact. Klay landed awkwardly. The arena fell silent. He had torn his ACL. Most players would have stayed in the locker room. Not Klay. He actually returned to shoot his free throws, because if he didn't, he wouldn't be eligible to return later. Think about that. He could barely walk, yet all he cared about was helping his team. That mindset sounded familiar. It sounded like Kobe Bryant. Unfortunately, the nightmare wasn't over. After more than a year of rehab, Klay was preparing to return. Then, disaster struck again. An Achilles tear, 2 catastrophic injuries, back to back, before he even played another NBA game. Many believed his career was over. History wasn't on his side. Players rarely return from one injury like that, let alone both. For nearly 2.5 years, Klay watched basketball instead of playing it. Every practice, every rehab session, every lonely morning in the gym. No guarantees, just work. Exactly the kind of work Kobe always preached about. When Klay finally returned in January of 2022, the basketball world celebrated. Not because people expected him to be perfect, but because he had survived. His first basket, the crowd exploded. His first dunk, even louder. One of the NBA's greatest comeback stories was finally complete. And just months later, the impossible happened. Golden State won another championship. Klay Thompson became a 4-time NBA champion. After everything he'd endured, he climbed back to the top of basketball. Very few athletes in history have ever done that. When people talk about Klay Thompson, they usually mention the shooting, the records, the championships, the Splash Brothers. But Kobe Bryant saw something different. He saw discipline. He saw consistency. He saw someone who never cheated the game. Someone willing to shoot 3 for 15 and still believe the next shot was going in. Someone willing to score 60 points on just 11 dribbles, then happily score 12 points the next night if it meant winning. That's what separated Klay. He never chased greatness. He chased improvement, and greatness followed.